We're getting ready to go into a segment today that we find to be important. Our topic today is
love, loss, and love again.
We're dealing with the dynamic of losing the person you love to death. Now, it's a sensitive situation, but it's a real one that in relationships we deal with. Our goal is to create a dialogue in such a way that you would celebrate the person you have while you have them. That whether you have 2 years or 70 more years together, that you would never lose sight of how precious it is to have the person that you love. I had been widowed, and I know exactly what it's like to love and then suffer loss and then love again. And so we're talking with a couple today, a fascinating couple. He has accomplished so much, as has his wife. We're going to be speaking with Bob and Jane DeAndre. Now, Bob DeAndre is the president and founder of the Christian Television Network. It's a worldwide television station that is getting souls saved all over the globe. And we've been blessed to sit with him and his wife, Jane,
Yes.
and have some real conversation about love, loss, and love again. Now, why is that important? Because both of them were widowed, and they are now married and in love again, as I am. So those of you watching who have never suffered loss, we are praying that today's show inspires you to love the one you're with like tomorrow is not promised.
Right.
And for those of you who have been widowed or are suffering through that season of wondering if you're going to love again, we're excited for you because you will see how love will still come back to your life and you can still love again. So watch this. Welcome to Love and Happiness. I'm Dr. Vandy.
And I'm Dr. Barbara Colter.
And we are excited because we have, of course, more real relationship talk. And nothing gets more real than the conversation we're going to have today, because in this particular segment, what we're going to be discussing is the reality that many people, actually millions of people throughout the country deal with, and that is being widowed. Our theme today, our hot topic is love, loss, and love again. So with that in mind, we are blessed to have this amazing couple, and quite accomplished, and that is the DeAndres.
Yes.
So Bob DeAndre, Jane DeAndre. Bob is the president and founder of the Christian Television Network.
Yes.
And Bob and Jane host the flagship show for the network, which is called The Good Life, which is something out dear after our heart.
Yes, it is.
Because we're believing God for the good life all the time. So we want to welcome you to Love and Happiness. Thank you for being our guests. We're excited to have you. And we're going to share. We're going to just open ourselves up, and I get to participate in this opening up as well. So it's probably going to be very therapeutic, very fun, but also inspiring. We're looking to make sure that we convey to our audience how precious love is. And when we find ourselves in a situation where we lose it, and then we're graced enough to find it again, to love again, how precious it is, in a way that prayerfully those who have not lost will be inspired to take advantage of every day and not waste those days in kind of drama and strife, just assuming, oh, I'll see you tonight or I'll see you later. So with that first in mind, let's just kind of introduce you all a little more to our audience. So I'll start with you, Bob.
Okay.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the network that you have, the ministry God has graced you to create in the Christian television network, and anything else that's on your heart.
Well, we started off as I was a businessman and still am,
Wonderful.
but we started off by hiring all the people that we needed for a television station. But I didn't know exactly how many people we needed because it's very foreign to me. And we hired them, and then it wasn't long afterwards we had to get rid of them because they didn't really feel what I was feeling about the calling. And this truly is a calling. We're, first of all, trying to bring people to Jesus Christ. That's our main effort. That's our main goal. Bringing people to a knowledge of Jesus.
I love it.
And from there, we had this one station, and then Channel 45 in Orlando.
Wow.
At that time it was 52, but they called us and said, we also have a license, but we don't know what we're doing. And can we come over? Now, we've only been on the air about 2 years, maybe a year.
At that point.
At that point. So they came over, and we showed them what we knew, which wasn't a whole lot.
I understand.
And they had their whole board with them. And on the way back, they had a board meeting in the van.
Nice.
And they elected me president.
I love it. And isn't it powerful how strategic divine connections become to accomplishing a single goal?
Absolutely.
Because it was them leveraging the relationship and opportunity with you, and you're coming together with them that strengthened and kind of thrust you into another level of leadership.
That's right.
So it's exciting to see how God can just use the most kind of non-related things to just push us into our destiny.
Yeah.
You know. So now during this time you're married.
Yes.
Okay. And how long were you married before you were widowed?
42 years.
42 years.
That's a long time.
Well, it's only long if it's a problem. If it's good,
Well,
then
it wasn't
feels
that
like
long.
it's.
I'm sorry,
There
it
you go.
wasn't
Wasn't that
long.
long? Felt like yesterday. There you go. So in the 42 years, was and for our viewers that are watching, the reality is, Jane, you were widowed.
Yes.
And how long were you married?
26 and a half years.
Beautiful. 26 and a half
Almost
years.
27.
Almost 27.
Yeah.
Bob, 42. And I was widowed after we were married only about 5, but we were together 8 years when I was in my 20s. So we all bring different kind of experiences that, I really want us to open up and kind of build on for those who are watching, because we're all kind of on the same bus in life, but we're just sitting in different locations as we travel back to glory, we'll say. So you being married 42 years, and they were good, suddenly you find yourself a widow.
Yes.
So let's talk about that happiness all of a sudden now turning into sadness. How did you manage that season of, was it a sudden dynamic, or was it over
It
time?
was. I knew she was sick, but I didn't think it was anything really bad. And turned out that she had ALS. And the doctors say, of course, and we don't listen to doctors all the time,
That's right.
But they say there's no hope. And when she heard that, it was only a month or 2 months. She said, I'm going to go home. And we were in the middle of a telethon then, here in this station. I think we had already broken off from Channel 52, but we were in a telethon, and she told me that she didn't think she was gonna make it.
How did that affect you at that point? Because you're seeing the person you love lacking hope and lacking real desire to even press.
Right.
How did that affect you?
It was horrible. Though we knew where she was going, we know she's watching now.
Right, and it doesn't make it any easier, does
No,
it?
it doesn't make it.
It doesn't make it any easier.
And so I think I did one night of the telethon because she was still talking and doing fine. And the next night, or 2 nights later, she was gone.
So that is more sudden because
Yes.
it's, yeah. So during that time for yourself, where were you spiritually? A lot of times there's this anger, there's this resentment to find ourselves in a situation like this. And then you know, I'll speak for myself. When my wife had died, it was suddenly the day before my birthday. She was buying me gifts. Our children were 3 and 5 years old at the time. And it was a car accident. She called me to say, I'm on my way. I used to be in the music industry at the time, and I had to go to one of those industry-related events. And she was a stickler about seatbelts. This is back in basically 88, 89. And as the stickler, she always would ask me to wear a seatbelt. But on that day, she got back in the cab and didn't put her seatbelt on, and she was the only one who died in the car accident. Wow. And so for me, I was a babe in Christ, but somehow I could not get angry at God. As a pastor, counseled many people who were mad at God because they were disappointed. And I understand it affects different people differently. I just couldn't resolve it because something in me just said, well, you know, how can I get angry to a God who I know loves me? You know, the situation didn't feel good, but everyone processes it differently. So did you get angry? Where were you in your part of the journey?
I never got angry because in my knower, I knew that God was in control. So I never really got angry at God or anything like that. But I was sad because it's like you're cutting off your one arm and your one leg and hobbling through life.
Yeah, and you create a new norm. You learn other norms. So Jane, for you, tell us about the 26, 27 years that you all were together, and then how you found yourself all of a sudden being widowed.
Okay, well, we really had a good marriage.
Wonderful.
We held hands everywhere we went. We were right beside each other on the couch. When we watched the news or anything on television, he didn't go to the other big chair. He sat by me. We're right beside each other on the couch.
Beautiful.
So, you know, we really did. I'm not saying that we never had an argument or anything, but his mom and dad taught us something: never go to bed angry.
Nice.
So,
and you received
we
it.
took that.
You received it. They could say
yeah,
it,
we
but
took that to
you
heart.
received it. There you go.
So,
That's beautiful.
you know, we would make things right.
Nice.
And we loved each other. And I remember he was the healthiest person I ever knew. Worked out all the time, tried to eat right, very, very healthy, never missed a day of work. And then one day I get a phone call. He goes, hey. I went, hey. I said, where are you? He said, I'm in the hospital. I said, what? He'd been having what we call spells, but we didn't realize he had several brain cancers,
Wow.
big tumors on the brain. And
No
that
sign, no
was metastasized
symptoms.
from melanoma, although he had gone and gotten checked out. But anyway, it just spread rapidly. And I tell you the power of words. The doctor told him, he said, "How long do you think I have?" And he said, "I've never known anybody to live more than a year with what you have." He had that operation, a brain operation, on February the 23rd. He died 1 year later, February the 23rd. There's something about the power of words. I
Yeah.
tell you, you need to watch what you say and what you believe.
You just touched it. Bob just touched it. My wife died when she was basically 27 years old. When I met her 8 years earlier, when we were first dating, she was an only child. She used to say to me all the time, "I don't think I'm going to live long." And I would say, I wasn't even saved yet. I didn't understand what Proverbs tells us about life and death. But I just would say, "Why are you saying that?" And she'd be like, "Well, because death seems to skip generations." So my mother died young, and then there was another child in between that they were like, "She's gonna live," and she says, "and I'm gonna die young." And I used to say, "Don't say that, don't say that." Fast forward 8 years after I meet her, she dies in her 20s. You know,
Yes.
I think there is a lot to life and death in our mouths. I think that if we realize that, even in relationships, think about how many times when arguments go and you just start speaking stuff into the atmosphere of your bedroom or your home, you know, "You get me sick," or whatever. And that you give life to those spirits that you birth with our words.
You're
Our
sowing
words
seeds.
birth. Yes.
Absolutely.
I had that lady say, "I always get sick at Christmas." See, I got sick. I always get sick at Christmas. I told you I would. So you know what? She always gets sick at Christmas.
It's amazing. And even when Christians know this and do the contrary, it's remarkable. Even when someone says something in my presence I disagree with, like had the doctor said that, I don't just say, "Well, I don't care what the doctor," I say, "No, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," because I don't want them words to feel they have any authority
Absolutely.
in our sphere of faith. You know, it's like, and we have to be more mindful not to let people say anything. They walk off and they deposit those kind of
Negative seeds
Yeah.
that will later give birth to either life or death. So we definitely have to watch our words. Absolutely.
Jesus said that man shall have whatsoever he says.
That's right.
For those of you in a relationship, married, or if you're single and you plan on being in a great relationship, we have something that we absolutely know will bless you. We want to tell you about our course, Finding Each Other's Frequency. It's a course that will allow you to tune into each other, overcome some hurts and past resentments, and most importantly, equip you on how to have a strong relationship, how to overcome and how to insulate and protect your relationship against anything life throws at you. That way, the love that you have will stand the test of time. We want you to just watch this.
Want your relationship to go from bad to good to great, or great to greater? Get our Finding Each Other's Frequency Relationship Masterclass. Our online course covers secrets to creating your happily ever after, with proven tools, tactics, techniques that'll make your relationship better within 30 days. After over 20 years of counsel and relationship coaching, Doctors Vandy and Barbara Colter have put together the keys to improve communication, intimacy, alleviate resentment, anger, and most importantly, win. You can do our online 3-step course in the privacy of your own home or on your smart device with that special someone and become an unofficial relationship expert. You deserve to be happy, so you owe it to yourself, your mate, your children, and your relationship. Log on to loveandhappiness.tv today for more information. Remember, no one gets their happily ever after. They create their happily ever after. Create yours today.
Ready to take your love to the next dimension? Improve your trust, communication, intimacy, respect? Then register now for the pre-Valentine's Day Love and Happiness Live One-Day Relationship Summit. It's on Saturday, February 9th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Hope Church, Orlando, 3032 Monte Carlo Trail, Orlando, Florida. Sessions include intimacy, the silent killer of relationships, communication, find each other's frequency, questions and answers, group panel on how to make it last forever. Come casual, ready to have fun, laugh, learn, and love. with Summit hosts Drs. Vandy and Barbara Colter. Act now, because the first 50 people who register will receive a copy of our best-selling book, Love and Happiness: The Secrets to Creating Winning Relationships, as a free gift. The Finding Each Other's Frequency Summit is for married, singles, or couples. Basically, it's for everyone who loves love. You know, learning how to love better is one of the best investments of your time you can make. Someone had to teach us how to ride a bicycle, solve math problems. Well, learning how to love even better just makes sense. Early bird registration ends January 20th, so register now. Pre-Valentine's Day, Love and Happiness Live One-Day Relationship Summit. That date again is Saturday, February 9th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Hope Church, Orlando. Register on eventbrite.com, or for more information, log on to our website, loveandhappiness.tv.
How do you think God prepared you
Okay.
for the next, if I can say?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
that's real good.
honestly, when I lost my husband, I said, Lord, it's going to be you and me. I had no desire to get married again whatsoever at the moment. I really did not. And what I did was I really went after Jesus, and anybody listen, I would just say, go after Jesus. If you want to get married again first, just be married to Jesus all over again.
Yeah.
I really had such a hunger for Jesus to have, and I would say, I even thought this the other day, Lord, remember I just went through, I was lovesick for Jesus. That's all I can say. Valentine's Day was coming up, and I went to get a Valentine card for Jesus. And I would go eat breakfast, and on Valentine's Day, I'll put the card there, and I asked him to sit down and read that card for him. I mean, everywhere I went, I was just thinking about him constantly. So, you know, anybody who wants to get married again, I'd say first, go after Jesus. I felt like he drew me into that. I really do.
Yeah.
After 3 years, I had such a desire to get married again. I really did. I wanted to love somebody again. I wanted to wake up to somebody, say good morning, and say good night to him.
Yeah. But during that time, as you was literally seeking first the kingdom,
I
your
did.
intimacy with Christ.
I did.
And then he literally added the desire that you didn't have in you to love again.
He did. And I'm a firm believer in sowing into your future. Sowing. I would sow
Absolutely.
seed generously. And I would say, Lord, I'm naming my seed.
You have
This
to.
is for my future
Right.
husband. This
there
is for
you
the
go.
one
That's
you have
good.
for
There you
me.
go.
That's
That's
good.
right.
And you know, I remember I walked into the breakfast room and I looked up one day and I said, yes, yes, yes. Whatever it is, yes. If you want me to come out of my comfort zone, yes. Television is out of my comfort zone. I had no idea, no desire whatsoever. And I said, even if you want me to move. And both of those were really big deals, and I forgot what the third one was.
Well, I tell you what, you know, it's nice to hear your journey, because I was widowed 12 years. And by the time I met my rib, I was thirsty for God's perfect will again, you know?
Amen.
And I was not putting Valentine's, I was just crying, God, when? How long? This is, you know, I was a single parent. I didn't mind the responsibility, but I did know, even to the point, I remember about 4 years into the being widow, a dear friend of mine was with me, and he said, do you think you'll ever be, you know, I was just sharing the marriage and the life I had, and he said, you think you'll ever be that happy again? And I said, absolutely, with great conviction, to the point he was like, well, whoa, like he took it as if I was belittling the great marriage I had previously. And I said, no, you misunderstand. The Bible that I know, our latter years are supposed to be greater than our former.
Amen.
And the God I serve has better for me in the future. So as great as this marriage was, I absolutely, by faith, expect to be happier. And I have those two daughters are now adults.
Yes.
And so they know what I'm really saying is, by the time I had a chance to love again, I'm more mature. I'm more able to give more of me to her, and she becomes a beneficiary of the spiritual maturity that only comes through seasons of crying out to the Lord and waiting on God and all of those things. So I know the value of this season, you know,
Yes.
and I waited for it, and I wanted it, and I looked forward to it. And while I was in wait, I waited And I had to lean on things like, don't get weary in well doing. In due season I would reap, and I refused to faint. So for you, Bob, what was that transition after you're now widowed? Where did you get your strength from? Where did you get your bridge to position you to love again?
Well, I really didn't have a desire for a year. Anything to do with marriage. It just kind of ruined me. And after a year, I started dating 3 or 4 different girls, and they weren't girls at that time.
I understand.
They were mature women.
I understand.
And but nothing seemed to be right. Nothing seemed to be right. And I couldn't do it if I didn't feel that this is God's will for me. And then she lived in Pensacola. No, Montgomery.
My son's in Pensacola.
Alabama. And she said, well, you probably thought you were going to meet somebody there.
Well, no, I didn't know, but you had a prophetic word.
Yeah.
I had prophetic words. I was in a glow, and these ladies would come up and prophesy over me, and they'd always say basically the same thing. They didn't know each other, year after year or month after month, and it was always something similar. God's going to do, God is going to bring somebody in your life. You're going to know, He's going to know, and God's going to do a quick work.
Ready to take your love to the next dimension? Improve your trust, communication, intimacy, respect? Then register now for the pre-Valentine's Day Love and Happiness Live One-Day Relationship Summit. It's on Saturday, February 9th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Hope Church, Orlando, 3032 Monte Carlo Trail, Orlando, Florida. Sessions include intimacy, the silent killer of relationships, communication, find each other's frequency, questions and answers, group panel on how to make it last forever. Come casual, ready to have fun, laugh, learn, and love with summit hosts Drs. Vandy and Barbara Colter. Act now, because the first 50 people who register will receive a copy of our best-selling book, Love and Happiness, The Secrets to Creating Winning Relationships, as a free gift. The Finding Each Other's Frequency Summit is for married, singles, or couples. Basically, it's for everyone who loves love. Learning how to love better is one of the best investments of your time you can make. Someone had to teach us how to ride a bicycle, solve math problems. Well, learning how to love even better just makes sense. Early bird registration ends January 20th, so register now. Pre-Valentine's Day, Love and Happiness Live One-Day Relationship Summit. That date again is Saturday, February 9th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Hope Church, Orlando. Register on eventbrite.com, or for more information, log on to our website, loveandhappiness.tv.